I'm going live on the other platforms. Hello, 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 hello on the other platforms. I thought we were already active over there, but here we go. We're just going to jump right on in. Happy Father's Day for those who missed the full announcement and the honor that I just gave. My goodness. And when I tell you all, this has been, today has been something. It's been something really, really. But we started off really late, later than normal. And we started at 5 p.m. Eastern. But we started later than normal because technical difficulties. The streaming platform has been giving us the business today. But it's okay. We are here, and I'm grateful to be here. Again, honor. Um, Acknowledgments to all of the fathers, all of the father figures, the men that have stood in and have given us your love, your provision, your protection, your guidance, your discipline, okay, um, guideship, leadership, headship. We thank you. We thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you are celebrating your kings in your lives as well. All right, here we go. We're going to go into our reading so that we can go ahead and give you all back your day and your dads. Okay. Um, Here we go. Chapter 15 is what we're reading today, and it is entitled Genius and the Power of Creativity. Genius and the Power of Creativity. Last week we went over power and the arts, which was phenomenal. Oh my goodness. As a creative, it resonated strongly, okay, with me. I resonated with it, amazingly. So today is a continuum of that, all right? Genius and the power of creativity. Creativity and genius are at the center of high energy attractors. No human talents are more relevant to the creation of new M fields or for the expansion of the enfolding universe. In fact, these are the implicit domains of creativity and genius. Yet there's a scarcity of information about the essential nature of either quality. These closely allied processes remain shrouded in mystery. Human history is the record of man's struggle to comprehend truths that have appeared obvious to those of genius. Genius is, by definition, a style of consciousness characterized by the ability to access high energy attractor patterns. It isn't a personality characteristic, nor is it something that a person has or is. A universal characteristic of genius is humility. After all, those in whom we recognize genius commonly disclaim it, as they've always attributed their insights to some higher influence. The process of animating genius most commonly involves first formulating a question, then waiting an indefinite interval for consciousness to work with the problem until suddenly the answer appears in a flash, in a form that's characteristically nonverbal. For example, great musicians throughout history have stated that they didn't plan their music, but simply wrote down what they heard within their own minds. The father of organic chemistry, F.A. Kekule, saw the molecular structure that he based the ring theory on in a dream. And in an illuminated moment, Albert Einstein had the revolutionary insight that then took him years to translate into provable mathematics. Indeed, one of the main problems of genius is how to transform what's perceived in one's private understanding into a visible expression that's comprehensible to others. I can relate to that 100%. My first solo album that I recorded, every song, with the exception of one that was written by a great friend of mine, Robin Edwards, a great writer, amazing musician, arranger. Oh, awesome. Okay, her whole family is just artistically brilliant. Okay, and I'm excited to be connected to her all my life for the most part. But she wrote a song on that album. But every other song on my first solo album, which was years ago, I obtained in a dream. I used to sleep with a one of the old school mini recorders that college students would listen to. I used to sleep with that on the side of my bed, and I would wake up groggy and everything, and I would grab while my eyes were still closed. I would grab I would grab the recorder, hit record, sing whatever tune, melody, hook, verse, whatever into the recording while it was fresh, and then I would put it back down and go back to sleep. And so I would get them. I'm definitely a seer in that sense. Actually, all of the women in our family, in my family, that I know of on my mom's side, are seers in the sense. They known as seers, oracles, in some practices, prophets, prophetesses. Those abilities. Okay, so I can 100% resonate with this. The revelation itself is usually complete and self-explanatory to the person who receives it, but to make it so to others may take a lifetime. It's so true. It's so true. Genius thus seems to proceed from sudden revelations rather than conceptualization, but there is an unseen process involved. Although the genius's mind may appear stalled and frustrated with the problem, what it's really doing is preparing the field. There's a struggle with reason that eventually leads, like a Zen koan, to a rationale impasse from which the only way forward is to leap from a lower attractor energy pattern to a higher one. Attractor energy patterns have harmonics, as do musical notes. The higher the harmonics frequency, the higher the power. What the genius arrives at is a new harmonic. Every advance in human consciousness has come through a leap from a lower attractor pattern to its higher harmonic. Posing the original question activates an attractor. The answer lies within its harmonic, its frequency. This is why it's said that the question and the answer are merely two sides of one coin. It's so true. And that one can't pose a question unless the answer already exists. That's awesome. Otherwise, there would be no pattern that the question could be formulated from. So doggone true. My goodness. Oh my goodness. My word. Recognized geniuses may be rare, but genius resides within all of us. There's no such thing as luck or accident in this cosmos. And not only is everything connected to everything else, no one is excluded from the universe. We're all members. Consciousness, like physicality, is a universal quality. Because genius is a characteristic of consciousness, genius is also universal. It follows that that which is universal is available to each and every person. The process of creativity and genius are inherent in human consciousness. Just as every human has within himself the same essence of consciousness, so is genius a potential that resides within everyone. It simply waits for the right circumstance to express itself. I believe that wholeheartedly. Each of us has had moments of genius in our lifetimes, perhaps only known to ourselves or to those close to us. We suddenly make a brilliant move or decision, or say exactly the right thing at the right moment without quite knowing why. Sometimes we might even like to congratulate ourselves for those fortuitous events. But in truth, we really don't know where they came from. Genius is often expressed through a change of perception, a modifying of context or paradigm. The mind struggles with an unsolvable problem, poses a question, and is open to receive an answer. The source that this answer comes from has been given many names, varying from culture to culture and time to time. In the arts of Western civilization, it's traditionally been identified with the Greek goddesses of inspiration called the Muses. Those who are humble and grateful for illumination received for illumination received tend to continue to have the capacity to access genius. Those who credit the inspiration to their own ego soon lose this capacity or are destroyed by their success. Man, man, that's there's a scripture that says, pride comes before destruction and a haughty look before a fall. It's so very true. It's so very true because when we all of us, okay, so all of us have the ability to step into and operate from our egoic self. Okay. which we, because that's what engulfs our human self, our, physical 3D self and the elements thereof. So ego is in all of us, all of us. We have the ability to be narcissistic, for sure. We're throwing that word around so avidly nowadays, but we all in one time or place, whether we knowingly do it or not, we have, we have dealt with those types of energies. And so uh it's very, very, very easy to operate from this genius space, this brilliant space, this creative space, and become arrogant about it, egoic about it, because it is you that is exhibiting, these abilities, these talents and skills, and this creativity, this brilliance, this genius. It absolutely is you. So to really, really, really find ourselves in a space of, oh, I got myself here, like the term self-made millionaire. Self-made. That's to say that no other person assisted in getting you there. Nobody, nobody, what I'm saying? Nobody guided you. Your wisdom came from yourself. And you know what I'm saying? It's those are things. We're having some more difficulties here. I'm seeing the signals fade in and out. So you guys, if we have any type of issue where it eliminates us and take us out of here where we can't finish, then we're sure to do this over. In fact, yeah, this is it's necessary because we all need to hear this, and I don't mind reading it again on another day. Okay. Okay, so I'll keep going until I if I can't anymore, I'll just stop, but I'll keep going until then. So, like I said, we just have to be mindful of thinking more highly than ourselves than we ought at times, because no man is meant to live life alone, and so none of us, no matter what level of quote unquote success we've achieved, because success is subjective. So no matter what level of success you've achieved, you absolutely did not achieve that on your own, not at all. You know what I'm saying? So remain humble, be confident, be assured. You know what I mean? But humble, humility. That's what keeps people where they are. Because, like you said, even people who are named geniuses, they themselves are, no, they are saying no, don't call me that. This came about as a result of the Holy Spirit, or spirit, or the infinite being, or my higher self, or you know what I mean. They are going to accredit another energy, another element that assisted them in that, in that journey or in that achievement. So yeah, yeah, I get it. He then continues to say, high power, like high voltage, must be handled with respect. It's true. To whom much is given, much is required, for sure. Um, oh my goodness, oftentimes we see it all the time. We see it in our own government. We see it. We see it in some of the executives, at our jobs and companies. We see it. We see it all the time, where the arrogance and the big head, where people feel it's okay to treat people beneath them like crap or whatever, as if the people beneath them, quote unquote, um, are not the reason why they're up there. Genius and creativity then are subjectively experienced as a witnessing. It's a phenomenon that bypasses the individual self or ego. The capacity to finesse genius can be learned, though often only through painful surrender. It's true. When the phoenix of geniuses arises out of the ashes of despair after a fruitless struggle with the unsolvable. Out of defeat comes victory, out of failure, success, and out of humbling, true self esteem. One of the problems in attempting to understand genius is that it takes near genius to recognize it, right? The world frequently fails to identify genius altogether. Society often gives a claim to its work without noting the intrinsic genius of its creation itself. Until one acknowledges the intrinsic genius within oneself, one will have great difficulty recognizing it in others. We can only acknowledge without what we realize within. We can only acknowledge without what we realize within. For example, Mikhail Gorbachev was the subject of enormous worldwide attention, but at the same time, the world never really did acknowledge his genius. Single handedly, and in only a few short years, he completely revolutionized one of the greatest empires on earth, and his only sources of power were his inspiration and vision. Had the communist regime been based on power, nothing could have overturned it because it was based on force. It was destined to come to an end under the hand of a charismatic leader who was aligned with power and not force. That's true. That's so true. Genius is one of the greatest untapped resources of our society. I'm going to say that again. Genius is one of the greatest untapped resources of our society. It's no more specific than it is personal. People of genius frequently have multiple talents in different realms. It's so true. And they might have answers to a diversity of problems. Yet society suffers a great loss because it doesn't know how to nurture its geniuses. And in fact, is often either indifferent or hostile to them. That's the fact. Come on, Kanye. He's a genius. The man is brilliant. He is. He is. And he's under attack, which is why he attacks back. Who else? Genius. Oh my goodness. So many geniuses. Oh, so many. So this is so true. Society suffers a great loss because it does not know how to nurture its geniuses. Okay. And in fact, is often either indifferent or hostile to them. This is unfortunate, for they characteristically don't cost much to maintain. The lifestyle of those we term genius is typically simple, and they're seldom interested in money or fame. Genius is characterized by an appreciation for resources and the economy of ingenuity, because the genius values life and sees the intrinsic worth of all of its expressions. Since time and resources are considered precious, doing more than doing more than is necessary is viewed as a waste. Doing more since time and resources are considered precious. Doing more than is necessary is viewed as a waste. So do enough to finish the project, finish the job, because time and resources are considered precious. Therefore, people of genius often lead very quiet lives and usually only come forth very reluctantly when there's a cause that must be supported, correct? Because they are in touch with an endless support source of supply. Geniuses experience only a minimum of want. Such simplicity seems a common characteristic of true success in general, for there's no need to get when you already have. See, that's a mindset. That's when you know that you already have, then you have no need there's no need for a desire. You don't have a desire. You have no desires, because to desire something means that you don't have it already. But in certain mindsets and certain inner standings, you know that there's nothing that you don't already have. And so when you already have it, right? When you see it already done and you operate and speak and walk and behave from that doneness, then, like he said here, for there's no need to get when you already have. The basis of this non materiality, this seeming naivete, is a radical understanding of the nature of the universe itself. That which supports life is supported by life. Survival is thus effortless, and giving and receiving are one and the same. Genius is notoriously interpreted as unconventionality or eccentricity. It's true that such people, due to their alignment with high energy attractors, have a different perspective on life. Therefore, things have a different significance for them than they do for the average person. The genius is frequently inspired to intense activity by insights beyond our understanding. Genius isn't stardom. Correct. Listen, genius isn't stardom. Those who attain prominence are a very small minority. There remains a legion of geniuses who achieve no such status. Many appear in no way noteworthy and may, in fact, have never had formal higher education. What characterizes this type of is the capacity to exhaustively utilize what experience they have and to capitalize on it by the dedication necessary to reach a high degree of mastery. Many productive geniuses aren't recognized until years after they've died. It's so true. In fact, the gift or curse of genius often brings about unfortunate consequences during such an individual's lifetime. Nikola Tesla, I consider him to be a genius. And his findings were revolutionary, but they were also stolen. And yeah, and he was assassinated as a result of them for them to be acquired. Is something. One characteristic of genius is the capacity for great intensity, which is often expressed in a cyclic fashion. That is, the personality of the genius sometimes seems to incorporate polar extremes. When inspired, he may work 20 hours a day to realize a solution while it's still fresh in his mind. These periods of intense activity tend to be interspersed interspersed with intervals of apparent stasis that are actually times of fermentation, which is a necessary part of the creative process. It's true. It's so true. Fermentation is what grapes do when to become wine. Okay. So in order for the greatness, for the results to be of high quality, there it takes time. And so that's what they're saying, fermentation time. It's necessary. It's a necessary part of the creative process. Geniuses understand the need to make space for ideas to crystallize. It's true. For creativity occurs under appropriate inner, not outer, circumstances. The stage is often set by complete distraction. We all know stories of people who have gotten the answers to complex problems while sitting in traffic on the freeway. It's true. A primary reason that so many people fail to recognize and therefore empower their own genius is because, in the popular mind, genius is confused with a high IQ. Genius is confused with a high IQ. This is a gross misunderstanding which has arisen from the fact that many celebrated geniuses in the fields of mathematics and physics indeed have high IQs. However, in those fields, the IQ necessary to comprehend the work is a prerequisite. It could be more helpful to see genius as simply as extraordinarily high degree of insight in a given area of human activity. After all, there are droves of non cerebral geniuses in many fields, such as art, music, design, and invention, whose innovative, creative talents fall within certain limited parameters. It's so true. Keep in mind that IQ is merely a measure of academic capacity for logically comprehending symbols and words. Listen, keep in mind that IQ is merely a measure of academic capacity for logically comprehending symbols and words. From our studies, it appears that the alignment of one's goals and values with high energy attractors is more closely associated with genius than anything else. Genius can be more accurately identified by perseverance, courage, concentration, enormous drive, and absolute integrity. Absolute integrity. Talent alone is certainly not enough. Dedication of an unusual degree is required to achieve mastery. And then the simplest definition, one could say that genius is a capacity for an extraordinary degree of mastery in one's calling. A formula followed by all geniuses, prominent or not, is do what you like to do best and do it to the very best of your ability. Yes. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, that is the end of this chapter. I'm so grateful because number one, it was powerful, but I'm grateful also because there's this technical matter is really persisting, and I don't want to. In fact, I might just reread this chapter on Tuesday. Reread this chapter and then go into chapter 16. Chapter 16 is surviving success. Surviving success. So those will go hand in hand, and yeah, I think I will reread those on on Tuesday when we meet again. Okay. For those who do not have this book, get your book. Okay, get your book. Email me with your email address. Contact me wherever, however you can contact me, whether it be website, email, inbox, wherever you see me, then send me your email address and I'll send it over to you. Okay. You can sow a seed. It's up to you. It's not required, but it is appreciated. Okay. Because it does cost us to do what we do here. Okay. Alrighty. You can email me at info@biancamissbeely.com. You can visit my website for Clubhouse. It's right above my head. For all of the platforms, it's on the screen and inside of the captions as well. Okay. Follow me on social media: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee, or on Twitter, Bianca Miss B. Lee. Okay. I think that is about it. I'm not going to keep you all today. I want you to get back to celebrating the fathers in your life. But I do want you to know that I love you. I mean it. There's absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try it. We'll see you back here on Tuesday for the rereading of chapter 15 and then going into chapter 16. All right. Talk to you then. Peace.